Alright, it is September 24th. I wanted to take a look at the history of the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates and seeing how that plays out on the market. So just looking at it to start, here's our most recent lowering of interest rates. I'm looking at the 1 month time frame on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I decided to use the DJI just because of the amount of historical data on this. So, did get all my information off the Federal Reserve website, which I'll post in my links for anyone that wants to see. This information does go back to the 1960s. So I'll take a look at this and just go over it with everyone, and then we'll go from there. So what's interesting that I did notice looking at the data, and I'll show you in a minute on the chart, is this time frame the Fed began lowering rates while we're still in a bull market, which we did see this in the last two times. So back in September of 2019, we saw the Fed lower rates. And they began lowering rates just before we started seeing the decline in 07. So what is interesting about this is in both times there was some economic problems, where in the past we do see that they're lowering rates after a decline back in 1991, back in January of 82 after the decline here, in 1974 also during a decline, and then in 71 after we started seeing a bull market start after a pretty sharp decline. This one, not as big of a decline, but we did see a pullback when they started lowering the rates. And then in 57, same thing after a decline. Now that's as far back as the info I got. But if you look at the raising the rates, same thing. Typically when we start an incline or a bull market, we start seeing that the Fed's raising rates. 71. This one was a little bit interesting right before. 77. Right at the start. And 87. During this long bull run. And 94. And 03. After the dot-com era. Right at the start. And then February of 2017. And then this one was right at the peak in December of 21 of the COVID bull run that we did see. Now, one thing that I didn't put on this chart that is on the Federal Reserve site is that pretty much all of these lowering of the rates were during a recession. So I'll share that link so everyone can see it. But it's very interesting to see the last two times us seeing that we were during the bull run, and then we saw the drop off after, where all throughout history we've seen lowering rates during a decline and then saw a bull run. So I think it kind of supports my theory that we are in a oversold condition on our oscillator. Our cycle's at the max as well. And typically when we see these, we're due for a pullback. So my other videos show the S&P 500, but this one with the Dow, it's telling us basically the same information on the indicators. So if I were to guess, we're going to see something somewhere in the 37,500 range. So we'll just check our fib and see where that puts us here. Sorry, it looks like I'm having some technical difficulties here with my fib not working. I guess we'll have to skip on that one for now. But you can see the fib extension up here. We're up into this top range up in here. Looks like we have a bit of room to run. Maybe we get up into the above the 78% range, into the 44,000. I'm not sure when we're going to see this pullback, but my guess is anywhere from the next couple weeks to the next few months, we're going to see something. It looks like my fib extension finally worked. Let's get rid of these and let's see what this shows now that things seem to be caught up. Yeah, so basically 38 to 50% range in that area is in around the same as where we probably will find some support from the peak of our last bull run. Our 50-day should move up into that range as well. So I would be looking for some time to be seeing us hit this range in the 36,200 range. That's all I have for today. Have a great trading day.